Hey, yo, Jay, can we get some ratchet one time?
Look, I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop, I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peace, you gon' see the flex when you hear these writtens. Trust me, you know the difference. I got a long ways to climb before you see a slippage. I see the process and the journey I'm supposed to be, but perplexed, cause I don't really see nobody close to me. Hopefully this ain't wasted and I know it ain't. You gotta take the time for seasoning to marinate. You need the patience and the pressure just to detonate. I'm trying to blow up and these heathens need to get it straight. Gifted with a vision and precision, I'm just trying to make it high key. Might be breaking free like I was Zion in some Nikes. Tucked at the crib, bro, you know just where to find me. Making beats and spitting crack verses pretty likely. Yeah, socks with the burst, boy, I ain't changed a bit. Normal guy till I die, you know what it is. You probably thought I'd give up now that I got some kids, but really nah, I got these arrows aiming at your ribs. I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop, I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas. Hey, please be on the notice, these my motives. Bought my chicken and it's rotis. You parsimonious, you take it all cause you a locust. My focus is to grow this mission. A visionary, get a dictionary. We here off the rip and we ain't sharing, we just caring. Let me speak it to the manager. We damage her, no you ain't messing with an amateur. I'm ramming, the competition, they ain't standing up. They fanning from left to right cause now they branded us. Now who that is? Mike Jones, they ain't want me now, they all on me. Got counterfeits trying to play me, I guess they thinking I'm Sony. These big head dummies showing up and out of their character. Homie, you need a price cause without it the squad ain't hearing you. Top of that, we ain't fearing yet. We swinging for the fences with the sting of a left hook that connects with Sonny Liston. I'm dismissing any and all of the disrespect. Nonetheless, it ain't a threat, I'm just letting y'all know who's next. I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the start, I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas, you gon' see the...
Woo! Yeah, I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat. Yo, grew my hair and took the grill out. Think it's time to put it back in. Trying to get into that big house, turn the crib into the mansion. Needed something with that big bounce. You know I had to hit Jackson. Aaron Rodgers with the quick routes. I'm with the gang, we packing. We on the field at Lambo. Might peel in a Lambo. Running drills in my camo. They know what the M stand for. Still got fam in Hawaii, yeah. Couple fans in the lobby, yeah. Couple grand in my pocket, yeah. Couple grams of wasabi, yeah. Eye it up, no glasses. Light it up, no matches. Wife it up, no ratchets. Might turn my wife to an actress. And we gon' make a movie, no Kim K. Give a fuck about what your friends say. I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
I'm just sticking to the code, I keep it so G. She asked me what I smoke, I'm smoking OG. I don't fool with too many, only catch me 4 deep. Gotta stay away from snakes, swear these people so creep. I've been grinding for a minute, many labels so sleep. These rappers drop a song, be hot for about a week. I put Gucci on my toes, I keep some cold feet. I ain't paying for no home, you niggas know me. I'm about to body the beat. I keep me a hottie with me. She wanna for a fee. Give me that for free. Keep me some money on me. Smoking the gas key. You with me, sheesh. But need no cheap keef.
I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, so nobody's into me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go. On the road, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the chat disappeared, guys. I don't know what happened to the chat. Hang on, let me pull you back up. But what is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you guys. And Bitcoin here, getting a little pop to the upside, a little dump to the downside. I'm going to go over my plans here, guys, although not really too much has changed here as far as my plans. Just waiting. Hang on one second. I'll call here. God, what a chaotic start to the live stream here, guys. But yeah, I'm going to go over my overall plan here for Bitcoin, guys. Are we going to be able to get one more drop to the downside? Now, I'm not necessarily talking about anything too dramatic here, guys. I am just kind of talking about coming back just down a little bit more before another move to the upside. I'm going to kind of break down kind of my thoughts on where I think things are going next. We'll talk about the key levels. But for the most part here, guys, we are just chopping around underneath our local volume profile, but we do have very, very, very key support down below, a major level sitting between $70,000 and $72,000. So I want to talk about that. Are we going to come take the lows one more time? Are we going to push into the golden pocket? Is the bull market over? Are we going to 69K? What the heck is going on? So I'm going to cover everything with you guys quickly tonight. It's going to be a fast one tonight. I'm not going to say it's a short stream because I know it's an absolute meme at this point. It's going to be a totally normal stream, guys, but I'm just saying if it does end up being short, it's going to be a surprise short stream. But as of right now, guys, it's a full stream. I'm going the whole way here. We're going the whole way. But I definitely don't have anything to do. No place that I have to be at a certain time. I don't have a timer running or anything like that. It's going to be a full stream. But that might be fake news. I don't know. But shout out to the Mafia. Thank you guys for being here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Smash that like button if you have not already. We got 1,000 likes on last night's live stream, so we are going to be giving away $100 in Solana on Friday night's live stream. Let's go for another 100, at least 100. Let's go for another 1,000 likes tonight, and we will give away even more crypto on Friday night's live stream. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Senator Biscuits. Says 69K, then 130K. Wow, shout out to Senator Biscuits. I'll actually take a look at a scenario that I do think could be in the cards for that to potentially happen. But shout out to Senator Biscuits. You must be looking at the same chart I am. But shout out to you, bro. We got Gen Z in the chat. Welcome in, bro. We got Darren Does Things, Rob the Crypto Snob, Tyler Durden, Chemistry Bro, Crypto Anon, Crypto Billy, Captain Kirk, D Petty Crypto, Dave Digital. You guys know who they are. Show them some love in the chat right now. There are mods. And we got Jesse, who's not official, doesn't have an official blue wrench, but he is our like police. If he asks you to smash that like button, please, for the love of God. He got us 1,000 yesterday. Let's try to do it again. So show Jesse some respect in the chat. We got Spaghetti in the chat, said 68.8. Oh, wow. You guys are pulling up some key levels. Somebody here watches the Frankie Candles live stream. ETH at 1,400 is crazy. Shout out to Mike Vito, my paisan. Yeah, we're going to take a quick look at Ethereum as well. We got Giga Longbottom in the chart. We got Ligma Wick in the chat. We got ADD Dad. Good to see you, bro. Welcome in. We got Volcon in the chat. We got we got JR Ford. What is going on, bro? Welcome in. He says 89K. Terry Darling in the chat. Welcome in. And last but not least, we got David Brumbelow in the chat. What is going on? Shouting out Jay Violet. I love it. Speaking of Jay Violet, shout out to you. We got Dan D in the chat. Jose. We got Fox 3. And last but not least, guys, we got Mark Dutch. Good to see you in here, Mark. Hope you're having a great day. And without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and jump on into this full-length Frankie Candles live stream. Let's get into it. So here we are, guys. Bitcoin. Oh, my God. So I kind of want to cover the higher time frames just a little bit here with you guys. Let me go ahead and turn off this garbage level that we have down there that nobody wants to talk about. But let's go ahead and start off here on some of the higher time frames. Obviously, guys, we did get the next drop to the downside, which we were looking for based off of some very, very specific things, such as that 2-day money flow. I don't want to stick on this too long because obviously we have been talking about this all the way since the daily money flow was crossing over into the red, which was happening all the way back here. But due to this higher, not longer, I guess you could say longer time frame, but higher time frame money flow on the daily coming to the downside, making us anticipate that continuation of the downtrend. And then we also had that 2-day following up very, very soon after. I don't want to say very soon, but you could see that 2-day money flow crashing down right after that daily money flow, continuing our downtrend, giving us that new low. But the real question I want to talk about today with you guys, I don't want to cover too much of the higher time frames other than the lower levels of support, but just to kind of talk about what I'm expecting here locally, guys. Now, if we zoom into these lower time frames, I am still not holding a trade here, guys. We were looking for a potential scalp long in the Discord earlier today. Price came down to our level, but unfortunately, we did not get the signals, so there was no trade to be had. I sit on my hands, and funny enough, we did actually wind up just nuking through those levels, right? And that's the importance of only taking trades when you actually have confirmations. If price comes into that level and you're not getting those entry triggers, you are not to enter that trade. I mean, you could enter it, right, as long as you're using a stop loss, but you're probably going to be have a higher probability of getting stopped out of that trade, right? So we were looking for price to get a little bit of a dip down here. We were looking along a higher low, and we really didn't get it, right? We didn't get any confirmation, so we sit it out, and we let price continue to the downside, and that wound up being the right decision here. But With that being said here, guys, what is coming next on Bitcoin? Now, there is somewhat of a new range that I'm looking at here. We are kind of starting to form a little bit of consolidation down here. It is not the prettiest range, but I will bring that up in just a minute. But for the most part, I want to bring up the current ranges that we've been looking at here recently. Now, obviously, we were kind of bing-bonging around in this local volume profile. We wound up losing it before getting that next drop down to our weekly naked point of control right down here where we were looking for long setups in the premium Discord. Obviously, we talked about this yesterday. This set up at 2:30 in the morning, so I personally did not take a long position here. I did not chase it, obviously, guys. I am never chasing my trades. I don't want to say never, right? Anytime I've ever chased the trade in the past, more often than not, it does not go our way, right? So I just simply was not there to take the setup at 2:30 in the morning, and in that case, there is no long trade to be had, right? By the time we hit here and started bouncing, it was already too late for me to get in, so I simply sit on my hands, and you can see here, obviously not FOMOing in at the tops is usually a good idea, right? Could have FOMO'd, oh my God, we're going to break into the volume profile, oh my God, right? Would have gotten wrecked. Oh my God, we're pumping again, would have gotten wrecked, right? So just simply sitting on my hands, guys, and waiting for the next higher probability setup, and I really want to talk about those next key levels that I'm personally going to be interested in actually looking for some trades, right? I'm not going to talk about the exact setups, but I want to talk about those key levels of support and resistance. Now, number one, guys, I'll be quite honest with you, right? You know, if you watch this live stream, you will know that, once we wound up getting a breakdown out of our larger range here that we were looking at previously, right? We knew once we broke out down out of here, if we did not hold any of the local key levels of support that we had, I'm not going to go over them all today. I don't think I need to bring up every single past level that we ripped through. But once we had a couple of local levels of support down here, and then once we wound up nuking out of here and pushing lower, the real big zone of support, in my opinion, personally, was going to be. Oh dang! I deleted that daily naked point of control. Is that real? Yeah, okay, I deleted it because it's now tapped, just like this one is. I left this tap weekly on the chart just so we know kind of what we're bouncing off of. But we had another daily naked point of control in here. I don't remember the exact level. I think it was just below this wick right here. So I think it was at 76,236. Maybe I could actually take a look here really quickly and see where that level actually was. Bada boom, bada bing. Where was that level? I believe it was sitting, just below this wick, I believe. So we had a daily and a weekly naked point of control. The weekly naked point of control was the bottom of that zone. Obviously, this is a new chart, so I've deleted the actual blue box off the chart. But we did have that daily and weekly naked point of control, which is that next key level of support, right? If we didn't hold those local 786s, I guess I will bring up the dang level, right? Which was sitting right here. Once we lost that 786, it was also a tapped daily. I deleted that as well, but we also had the daily sitting down here as well. Once we lost that level, guys, we were going to expect that push into these naked points of controls where we had that long setup that happened at 2:30 in the morning. We got the rip to the upside, and that's kind of the context that we're looking at right now. So, if we do continue up here, I want to be very clear on the key levels of resistance above. Now, number one, obviously, we are going to be looking around that value area low, right? That value area low is sitting right now at about $81,600. We also do have a 786 here sitting at about, 81,750, right? So, really that $81,000 to $81,700 zone. And I'm going to pull up some of these actual levels here. I'm going to pull up some of our horizontals here, pull up the weekly. We did just hit this weekly, so this is now tapped. All right, let me go ahead and just label this, make sure we have this all updated, tapped. So, yeah, we rejected this weekly, couldn't get back above it, and now we're kind of just bing-bonging around here. So kind of what I'm hoping, guys, is well, I'm going to talk about kind of how I'm handling the price action down here, but just to talk about the resistance above, there's some really, really specific levels that I'm looking at. Number one is going to be the point of control. Let me actually just turn this on really quickly, right? So the real levels are going to be sitting right down here, and again, let me just make sure I have all our daily naked points of controls, our monthly naked points of controls. Why do I feel like, I guess I'm not. Yeah, I guess the next, 83. Okay, never mind. I thought I was missing some levels here. But, we have the value area low. This is always going to be our, first major level of resistance on the way back up towards a volume profile, right? Because the way that we trade these, anytime we deviate below, this is typically where we're looking for longs. Now, we're not just longing as soon as we break out of the range. You want to wait for price to come down and hit some key levels with some bullish confirmations, right? Which obviously you would wait for. But we're looking for longs at the lows, right? And then we're looking for shorts at the highs, longs at the lows, shorts at the highs, and then even little scalp longs at the lows. But right now, we're just below this volume profile, guys. So if we are going to continue up, and we're going to take a look at Market Cypher B and see how likely it is to actually get a continuation to the upside here before coming back down, or if coming back down is going to be a little bit more likely. And that's kind of what I really want to talk about today in detail. But when we look at this, right, if we continue up, like I said, I'm not holding any position. So right now I literally have no favor. I guess my only favor would be that we go up, right, for my spot bags. But other than that, from a trading perspective, I don't really have a preference on which way we go first. I am simply just sitting on my hands with my traps set in the market waiting to react, right? If we don't come into any of my levels, I will not be taking a trade, right? So very simply, if we do come back to the upside first, I will be, let me get this tapped weekly off the chart. I will be looking at the value area low, again, sitting at about 81.7. We'll call that kind of the bada boom, right? So we have the golden pocket. We came down, we came up, we rejected this level. That's why I don't have this golden pocket on the chart anymore, because it's already been tested a bunch of times. So it is there, but I just kind of like to clean the chart up and keep the tap levels off. So that 786 is still naked up here on that value area low, right? This is sitting between, again, I would call it between like 81.5. I have it marked out as a general zone, right? So we have it at about 81.2 all the way up to, almost $82,000. Really, the 786 does end at about 81,760, but, I would kind of look at this between about 81 and $82,000. This is the first major level of support, resistance, and you guys can see here, we do have this big old wick down here, or up here, right? There could be, there is, I don't want to say could, there is liquidity living above this wick, and you might see this, and you might be like, well, Frankie, like, this could be a nice area to potentially get a swing failure pattern, and I would agree with you. However, I don't really love the amount of liquidity that we have sitting here. We actually have a much hotter spot of liquidity in these upper levels, right? So I would personally, I will be looking at this, again, between about $81,000 and $82,000, value area low, 786, and then you just have this wick up here, which could potentially give you a little bit of a liquidity sweep, right? So if we were to kind of come up here, right, and we start pushing into this whole zone of resistance, right? Maybe you could look for an SFP, right? I'll give you a little freebie there, right? You could look for a swing failure pattern, but again, I wouldn't even necessarily classify this as a super high probability area to get an SFP. And again, that really comes down to the fact that our liquidity, if this would load for a second, let me see if I can get this to load up. But we don't really have a significant amount of liquidity sitting right at that spot, right? It's actually living a little bit further above. So if we do come up there, honorable mention, this is a level of resistance, right? Because if we can't get back above this value area low, we might just kind of continue to range around down here. And that value area low is going to be resistance until proven otherwise, right? You can see we came up towards it. We're starting to reject, right? We come up here. Until we get in here and flip that level 2 support, that is where I'd be looking for the bigger move to the upside. And in my own personal opinion, guys, this is really the attractive level in my opinion, right? Because we have so much more confluence. I don't know what is going on with these liquidation heat maps. Let me try to get to these in a different way. Hang on one second. I don't know why they're not loading. Bada boom. Come on. Log. Okay, boom. I'm getting them loaded up here on the other screen. But first off, $81,000 to $82,000. Value area low, 786. And I could have sworn we had, oh, you know what this is? This is the local value area low. That's why that box is there. I see this and I'm like, why is this box so off here? It's because we do have the local value area low coming in just a little bit lower. Okay, so this now makes sense to me, right? Once we come up here, right, 81.1 all the way up to about $82,000. That's our first key level of resistance, right? If we do come up here, I am looking for short positions, right? I am not just shorting this level for no reason, right? And someone asked me yesterday, I think it was Blockchain Domain, asked me, hey, Frankie, why don't you use limit orders? Because I was talking about how I missed my long position because it was at 2 a.m. in the morning, right? And the simple answer to that question was because we had a lot of longs that we were going to be or a lot of levels we were going to be looking at longs at, and we didn't get the setup to present itself, so we didn't take the trade. What happened? Price continued down. We had another long we were looking at, didn't have the confirmations, we didn't take the trade. What happened? Price kept going down, right? So if I had limit orders set at all these levels, guys, it would have been stopped out, and then hopefully, depending on how much you would have wicked down here, right, that limit order doesn't guarantee that you're just going to get in and not get stopped out if you have your stop set as well, right? Because price could come in here and just keep melting through that level. And I don't like getting stuck in bad trades. And very similarly to our setup earlier today, we were looking for a bounce on a higher low. And pretty much, right, if I had a limit order here, set, say right here, and, I go for whatever, I go to the gym or something, and price comes down, I get filled, and price just keeps going down, right? Now you're stuck in a bad trade, right? This is why I don't use limit orders. So very, very important to understand here. Once we come up here, I will be looking for short positions, not automatically shorting, right? Because if there is no short confirmations and understanding that this is going to be the start of where we have a significant amount of liquidity. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that same heat map to load up. But, if we don't get the swing failure pattern here, we could just have that act as fuel for a bigger rip to the upside. In my own personal opinion, guys, sure, we have the 2 value area lows and the 786 Fibonacci retracement. There's a little bit of confluence there, right? But to be quite honest, not as much confluence as we have above that, right? Really the level that I'm most interested in, and let me take some of this stuff off the chart. I'm just going to look at the actual levels with you because the real interesting point on the chart for me personally is going to be, I'll leave the range here. sitting between about 82.7 all the way up to about 83.8, right? Now, we have the point of control of the range. We have a daily naked point of control. We have a weekly naked point of control and a daily horizontal, right? So, we're just viewing this as a volume profile. If price comes on up, right, I'll look here. We could look for a rejection at the high for some scalps. If we get back in here, I will simply be looking for a move back in towards where? The POC of the range. And I personally do not like trading the middle of a range, but in this particular situation, I would actually be open to it. And the reason for that is because at that POC, guys, we also have beautiful confluence on our, golden pocket retracement of this entire move down, right? So you can see, can't see the golden pocket because it's invisible right now, but you can see that golden pocket comes right in here. So we have the golden pocket, daily naked point of control, POC, weekly naked point of control, and the daily horizontal level. Pretty wild, right? There's a lot of confluence in here. Now, it doesn't guarantee we're going to get the reaction, but I can tell you this. If we come up there and we start to see bearish confirmations, there is at least a very good shot at potentially getting some kind of a move to the downside, right? With bearish confirmations. That's thick support on, thick resistance on bearish confirmation could make for at least some kind of a move down. Now, in that position, I will be kind of handling this as a scalp until proven otherwise, because at the end of the day here, if we take a short here near the POC, we have to be very careful that we're coming down to key support, which is the value area low. And if we catch support on that value area low, right, you might be able to catch that full fill of that volume profile, right? So I will be treating that as a scalp until proven otherwise, right? So if we do break down, and we go down to new lows, we'll be able to catch that short from the lower high. And again, not just blindly shorting this. I need those actual confirmations that I want to see. But that's the big level, right? Like, this is definitely a key level of resistance. In my own personal opinion, this is what I'm looking at. Typically, our levels are pretty good, and that's why that purple box is there. And then the honorable mention here is going to be that value area low, again, between about, I would say, 81 and 81.9, right? Or 82K, if you want to round it up to that psychological level. Now, I'll be honest, this is 3 levels, right? I would probably put like the least amount of significance here. Again, doesn't mean you can't reject it, but I really, really like this level as far as confluence goes. And it's not only this level, guys. There's another level above, and I'm going to talk about exactly why I actually like this. Bitcoin getting a little pushed down here. We haven't even gotten to the levels of support, but we will talk about that in a second. Hopefully, we don't hit those levels while I'm actually talking about it, but they are lower. So, but let me just pull up this liquidation heat map. Let me just change around some settings here because this is a different heat map than I was just on. Please, for the love of God, give me this dang liquidity. I may just mark it out here to save time here, guys, because we're definitely doing a full-length live stream. It's definitely not going to be a short stream. I'm just going to talk about it here on the chart. I don't know why this won't load, guys. Let me try this one more time. Come on. Give it to me. All right, hang on. I think we have luck here, guys. Never mind. All right, never mind. No luck. But I do have it marked out here on the chart, right? So if I go ahead, I'm going to take off some of this resistance. And I'm actually just going to show this, right? Oh, here we go, right? Let me go ahead and let me get rid of this. We can hide this. We can hide this. Actually, no, I'll keep the fib on. But I do have the liquidity marked out here, right? So if we take a look at this, right? We have a decent amount of liquidity, and I really wish I could show you the dang heat map here. I do not know what's going on with these heat maps, guys. This is really frustrating. I don't know why every time I have trouble with something, it's usually the heat maps. Just for some reason, don't load up. Maybe there's a lot of people trying to look at them right now. Very interesting. It really would help if I could actually look at these heat maps. Okay, I can kind of see on this one. All right. The other one is a little bit more visual, but this one will show, right? Where is that? 84. Okay, cool. So here is that liquidation heat map, right? This is one the exact one that I was looking at. But you can see here, right? Above that wick here, sitting at 81.2. You guys know, right? We just looked at that. 81,200 bucks, right? Right up here. That's a big wick. But to be honest, guys, there's not that much liquidity up there, right? There's a little bit, right? But it's not really that intense. The more intense liquidity actually lives up here above these equal highs, right? Above equal highs, liquidity resides. And you can see that sitting at about 84.7, right? So if I pull the chart back up, 84.7, you can see like right about here is really where that liquidity picks up. And I actually like this, right? Because on the other heat map, when I change all the settings, you actually see how thick that pocket of liquidity is. And the reason I like this, guys, is because as we all know, I talk about this all the time. Above equal highs, liquidity resides, right? You could consider these equal highs. You could even like consider these equal highs, right? So a lot of stop loss is probably sitting above these levels. And what does that mean? Well, that simply means if we do get a move up here, one of the things I will be looking for is a potential push into that liquidity. Once we start breaking these highs, maybe we get a little push to the upside. And then once we hammer into these, we could potentially look for that quick move up. Now, obviously, there's two ways that this could play out, right? We could either look for using that liquidity as fuel for the continuation to the upside, or we can look for some kind of a liquidity sweep, right? And that would give us a potential for a setup on a scalp short position, right? So that's kind of what I'm going to be looking at, right? Liquidity is sitting here, again, sitting between, I have it marked out really here between about 84.4 and 85.240, right? Like, and this is significant liquidity. And the thing I like about this is if we did come up there and we sweep all that liquidity, we do have key resistance above, right? So if we SFP into this 786, I do believe we have actually a daily up there somewhere. Yeah, we do have the daily right here as well. I don't have it on this chart, right? But I'll just mark it out right here. Trying to get this done in a timely manner. So there you go. Potential daily 786, right? There's your next key level of resistance. And this is going to make a lot more sense, or should be making sense right now, but it's going to make a lot more sense when we pull up the other chart, right? So this will look really nice in my opinion, right? Actually, let me get rid of that. Get rid of this, right? If we do wind up pushing up there, I would love to sweep some of that liquidity, right? And the reason I like it is because this is a lot of liquidity, and we do have that key resistance above. Daily, 786, and there's another level sitting right above that 786 and that daily. And what is that level, guys? It is sitting right here at that value area high, which makes this range a potentially very nice range to look at if we do come back up, right? So simple volume profile stuff. I don't really want to overcomplicate it, right? And we'll talk about the move to the downside in a second. But if we come up, right, I am simply waiting for the value area low to then potentially consider shorts. If we get back in here and that liquidity from above this wick gives us the push back into our next key level, very, very confluent resistance, that is the next level I'm looking, right? Once we flip that POC, what are we expecting? Let me get rid of this, right? Let me get rid of the all these confluent levels as well, right? So once we get above that, right, push up here, flip that value area low to support, you're thinking, well, hey, we hold this level as support. Market Cypher B agrees. Maybe we can get that push to the POC. Huge resistance, right? Again, and because this is our golden pocket retracement sitting right here, if we're going to put in a lower high and continue dumping to the downside, that golden pocket and that 786 might be the place to do it. And that's why I say this value area low, there's not, I'm looking at scalps here, right? Because there's not that much confluence on this level, right? There's just like the value area low, the current range value area low, and the 786. Other than that, there's like no significant high time frame levels here. Really, all that confluence comes in near that POC. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. If we come up, right, and I'll actually be looking at this in the context of the local range, right? So if we come on up, right, potential resistance, flip it to support. We're looking at the POC. That's resistance level number one with all those key levels inside. Flip above that. Once you flip above the POC, where are you expecting price to go? Somebody put it in the chat right now. When you break above the POC, where's that next likely place for price to go? And while you're answering that, I'll answer this question. Once you break above the golden pocket, where's the next place you're looking for price to go? Well, it's going to obviously be that 786 Fibonacci retracement, which is confluent with the daily and that value area high, right? So these are just generally, I don't want to overcomplicate it, right? Like these are generally, like even if I don't give you like the exact numbers, right? Like golden pocket POC, just understand you got the daily level in there, you got the NPOCs in there, right? You have a lot of confluence down in here, right? So POC's next key level, and then above that, simply looking at the value area high all the way to the daily and understanding that the liquidity is sitting right here, right? So that's what I'm looking for. If we're going to come up and get a rejection, I'm looking here, I'm looking here. Honorable mention at the value area low. Very simple. If I get no confirmations here, we're going to let that thing fly, right? And hopefully we could catch a long position down here because as you guys know, I do not currently hold a long position. So I would honestly, I guess if I had a preference, I'd probably want down first, assuming that it sets up while I'm there to take the position. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at on the way up, guys. And these levels remain the same. These are the same levels that we looked at on the live stream last night, other than with the acceptance of that liquidity up there. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm looking at. And from a more simple standpoint, very simply, guys, just looking at the volume profile, right? Forget about the Fibonacci retracement. Whoops, let me get that POC back in there. Forget about the Fibonacci retracements, or don't forget about them. But if you're not looking at them, this is very simple, right? We're simply looking. This is the way I do my analysis, right? I have a volume profile. I'm looking for shorts up here. I'm looking for shorts up here. I'm looking for longs down here, shorts up here, longs down here, right? And if I could get confluence on any of those levels, it makes it an even better setup, right? And so yeah, very simple, right? Get above the value area low, look for move to the POC, get above the POC, look for move to the value area high. But because of that context, golden pocket in here, 786 up here with the flush of liquidity into that, right? And then the value area low, right? We could look for shorts on those levels, right? But at the end of the day, right, we're just playing it like a volume profile. We always look at the POC as key resistance inside a volume profile. We always look at the value area high as a key level of resistance inside the profile, right? So, whether you're looking at the liquidity or you fully understand the intricacies of all these moves, or you're just looking at this as, hey, I'm going to long the value area low, go to the POC and the high, right? And then, I'm going to look for a short at the value area high. Like, you're just looking at the same exact levels, right? But it is important to understand, like, the, not all levels are created equal, right? Like, I would say that POC range, like, there's a lot more confluence in here than there is here. But at the end of the day, any level can get the reaction. So that's what I'm looking at on the move up. That's the key levels of resistance. If you want the simple numbers, 81.2 value area low, 83.162 POC, and then 86.118 value area high. And then we'll be looking at those more intricate levels and the specific trade confirmations that, we have been talking about, what I'm going to be looking at for those short setups in the premium Discord. And they got all my actual levels because I share my chart with them, so they can just import it into their trading view and have my chart live on their trading view. But that's if we get the move up, right? In my opinion, guys, if we get another move down, I'll be honest here. If we take a look, right, 12-hour red dot is now printing. I don't really have a strong, again, I'm in a sit on my hands and wait kind of situation, right? Like, if we don't come up here for a short, if we don't come up here, I'm not looking for the short. If we don't come up here, I'm not looking for the short. If we don't come up here, I'm not looking for the short, right? If we dump from here, I'm not just shorting here, right? I want to see a setup present itself. So the only thing that I can do is wait for price to come into the next key areas that I'm interested in shorting, right? Or we can wait for price to come down to our next key level to look for a long. And in my opinion, guys, there's not really much left down here. And I want to talk about kind of what I want to see play out here. And as you guys know, as an absolute volume profile maxi, I think I'm not a Bitcoin maxi. I'm not an ETH maxi. I'm not a Solana maxi. I am no maxi whatsoever. I would actually classify myself as a human, as like an anti-maxi, right? I'm very open-minded. I don't really just like stick to one thing because I feel good about it, right? I like to stick. I'm a very logical person. So, in most cases. But yeah, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hope that we could potentially get some consolidation down here. And what this will do, this will give us a much better context of like where price is going to go next. And you can see we are kind of starting that little range, potentially, right? Assuming that we're not just going to nuke down out of here. So the way I'm looking at this right now is I'm just going to pull this over like all this price action, right? So hopefully, we'll have to let this develop. I'm not just longing below this value area just yet, but what I would really look for is, and to be quite honest with you guys, there is not a whole lot of liquidity. Let me go ahead and, this, I would really like to see this liquidity heat map. I don't know why it won't load for me. Man, I'm just like begging for it to work. Please just work. Of course not. But yeah, let me see if I can pull this up over here. Yeah, like I would love to say that we have a ton of liquidity below, but yeah, we really don't. I would say we have a very, 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 very slight bit of liquidity sitting below, just below the wick at about 74.6 or 74.4. So if you go ahead and take a look here, it's really not that much. Like, to be honest, like more of the liquidity, the most amount of liquidity that I can see right now sits at about $100,000, right? But we do still have a tiny bit of liquidity there. It's like really not much. But the other thing here is, guys, the next major key level of support for Bitcoin, at least on from a higher time frame perspective, is like $70,000 to $72,000. This is the golden pocket, right? We don't have a lot of confluence on the top of the golden pocket at 72K, but it is technically the next key level down below. So are we going to get the dump all the way down there? I don't know. Like, the only other option I can see here is because, again, like if we pull up all our key levels here, guys, like there's literally no other, like maybe do we have a daily from over here potentially? Like there's really no other high time frame. Yeah, like we have no daily there. We have no weekly, obviously. Yeah, like there's really just like no significant support that we have other than the weekly naked point of control that we touched, right? Below this, there's not really much other than this $72,000 golden pocket, right? And again, I don't even really love this level. I would maybe look at that level as a potential scalp, right? I would not be looking at this as some kind of a like massive swing level just yet, right? I would really like to come deeper into some of the levels you guys were talking about, closer to you can see the POC here at about 67.5. And it's crazy, guys, because we've been talking about these levels for so long that I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here, but we're finally have just gotten the move down. I think sometimes for me personally, and I think this is beneficial to the Mafia, but sometimes I think I try to project too far forward. And I try to like look at too much of like the nitty-gritty of like exactly what I'm looking for too far in the future, right? Because like we've been talking about this level, hey guys, and we wind up getting the big breakdown, major support down here, and like I just feel like, oh my god, I gotta stop talking about this, but like we're getting very close to that level now. So you know, it is what it is, right? It's just the same level, but you know, just be aware. Not a lot of confluence at 72K doesn't mean we can't bounce off of it. I will be looking at this as the next technical key level because again, like I said, if you take a look at your weekly naked points of controls, your monthly naked points of controls, we really just came down to that last level. This was our last line of defense. As you guys know, we talked about this before we came down to test it. If we lose 75K, we're looking down to 70 to 72K or 72 to 70K, right? And potentially beyond. And maybe I'll touch on the much lower levels very, very briefly. I don't want to get like too ahead of myself there because I don't want to like cause panic or anything like that. But if we do come down, like the only two scenarios I could potentially see is come down, break below the weekly naked point of control, turn it to resistance, and then either come test the top or the bottom of this golden pocket with the value area high of the previous range, right? Like this is the next zone of support. So like maybe I can like, the reason I have this kind of separated is because like I don't like looking at like gigantic zones. I like to be a bit more tactile, or tactical, I think is the word I'm looking for. Or maybe can somebody let me know in the chat? Does that work if I want to be more tactile? Or is tactical? I think tactical is the word. Or maybe they're both wrong. This is why I'm not up here talking about English, guys. But anyway, you know, technically between $72,000 and $70,000. That's our next big zone of support down below, right? So the only thing I could potentially see here is like maybe you get the big drop to the downside and you come into this zone, right, where you could bounce off the top or the bottom of that golden pocket. I would, again, prefer the bottom with confluence on that value area high. But like we either nuke through this weekly naked point of control, flip it to resistance, come into our next key level. Like, I would be interested here. But other than that, the only other thing I can really see here is, like, maybe we come down and just get, like, a swing failure pattern. Like, maybe we just sweep the liquidity below this low one more time. Let me see what the 4-hour looks like. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really, like, yeah, maybe we come down here, put a slight lower low in with, like, a little SFP, and then send it back to the upside, in which case your volume profile would then, obviously, the value area low would come lower. And then you would just look like, hey, you're deviating below the volume profile, SFP, right? Potential other bullish confirmations. I would want more than just the SFP for the most part to look for that ride back up into the range. And then maybe then we get the bigger retracement into the higher prices. But I just don't really like, if we had a key level down here, it would be a little bit easier for me to call. But yeah, like unless we just sweep that liquidity, and to be quite honest, right, like I just looked, there's not that much there, right? Like I could even try to pull up a much lower time frame. Let me see. Let me try lower time frame because sometimes it is a little bit more. Let's see here. Bada boom. I just changed the time frame here. We'll take a look at the 3-day. Might be able to see it there a little bit better. Not really. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't see a ton of liquidity sitting down there, to be quite honest. And what is that? That is 74.3. 74. Yeah, like it's just, I don't see it there. I just really don't see it there. So, you know, at the end of the day, guys, there's liquidity living above and below every single low and high. There's liquidity below here. There's liquidity above here, liquidity above here, liquidity above here, liquidity everywhere. Liquidity everywhere in the market. Above and below every single high, there's liquidity, right? But I just like to see like where I can get the confluence of like having a nice like up here where we have like a ton of liquidity sitting. That's typically where we have the higher probabilities of getting the swing failure patterns and massive moves to the downside or upside, depending on what you're looking at. So yeah, like I would just look for like if we break down below here, lose that weekly naked point of control at 75K, I would be looking to push down a bit lower. That would be the next key area I'd be looking for longs. If not, I would probably just be looking at this local range. However this winds up kind of working itself out, I would just be looking for like deviations below and then potential. I would really like to, yeah, maybe you come down and retest the weekly. I mean, I would just say the setup at this low is just, it's not as clear, in my opinion, right? Like I said, if we had like a key level of support there, I could say, and liquidity, right? Visible liquidity, I could say, well, hey, SFP into this massive weekly level, that would be great, but we just don't have that. You know, I do think maybe like you come down below this low, unless you get some kind of crazy liquidation wick into the golden pocket, and then you close above that wick for a massive, maybe a higher time frame SFP. But yeah, I mean, that's really all I can look at here. I wish we had a, you know, like maybe we should just mark out like 4-hour support, right? 4-hour support level. But yeah, I there's just really not that. I mean, this is a pretty decent wick. I just wish I could see a little bit better of that liquidity below. But at the end of the day, guys, like really just waiting for either coming down here, Maybe you get the SFP. Maybe you come down here. Like, these are just the next areas I'd be looking for the longs. 72 to 70,000. And then depending on how this range winds up shaking out, whoops, come on down to a lower time frame. Depending on how this range winds up kind of shaking out, maybe we can look for longs on deviations below, right? Because naturally, let's see. Let's take a look at the 3 hour, 2 hour. Yeah, like, it's kind of hard. Like, a lot of these time frames don't even really look like they're setting up, right? Like, let's take a look at the 4 hour, right? Like, maybe the 4, I don't know. It doesn't look like it wants to set up, but like, depending on what kind of chop we get here, if we do put a lower low in, right? Maybe you could we could look for some kind of like bullish divergence here on the 4 hour with maybe an additional SFP. I don't know, right? I would have to wait for this to kind of set up. The only other visible level I'd be looking for longs at that I could see on the chart is sitting down here, $72,000 to $70,000. If I get some kind of like internal setup at these lows or below this volume profile, I will take it. But other than that, that's kind of what I'm looking for. If we continue down, watch this weekly, tap the weekly naked point of control. Hopefully we can, not lose it. If we do, 70 to 72K. This level has been that kind of doorway to lower prices, right? If we don't hold the 75K, guys, we're going down to 72 to 70. That's been the plan ever since we came down here. We did stick it. We did get the bounce. So if we lose it, flip it to resistance, this is still the next key level of support. So simply put, I feel like I said that in the longest way possible, just because like trying to work through like like it almost seems like I must be missing something. There's got to be some kind of key level down here. There just isn't. So which probably means if we don't get accepted, if we get accepted below this level, we're probably going to be looking for a pretty quick drop. Yeah, like I don't want to accept that there's not a ton of liquidity down here, to be honest, right? Like all the knife catchers, where the heck are they, man? And it's just not going to load. It's just not going to load, guys. Man. But yeah, pretty much what I'm looking at. Waiting down here for longs and waiting for these levels for the shorts. Simply put, other than that, we're just working our way around in this volume profile. Maybe we consolidate, kind of let things figure themselves out. We could finally pull some kind of a range. Who knows, right? We could range around here for a little while. And then just kind of work around with this range, look for the longs and lows, shorts at the highs, and then whether we break up or we break down, we will be in a position, right? I am not long from our original setup in the premium Discord down here. That's set up at 2:30 a.m., right? So I am kind of, not going to lie, I am kind of not feeling FOMO, right? But I am feeling like I kind of want to make sure I can at least find some kind of a long position in case we do get a big rise to the upside. Now, coming up to Market Cypher B. What is it? Can Market Cypher B help us? Please, for the love of God, Market Cypher B, give us a guide here. All I can really see here is we do have the daily bullish divergences printing. You don't have it on these two momentum waves, right? You don't have it here, right? This is a lower low. If we got some aggressive move to the upside, maybe this momentum wave could come up, but just make sure you have a higher low. You want a higher low here, right? You want an upward trending line and a downward trending line. That is a bullish divergence. If this wave closes as a lower low, there is no bullish divergence, right? But you do have it like from this low, right? Like this low to this low, but it's I don't like that, right? Like this wick cuts through. I would really like to see it locally. Like the way this would look really nice is if you just had like consecutive lower lows, right? Body, maybe we do get the body closure there. Consecutive lower lows, and then you get like consecutive higher lows. It's just, I don't know. It's not that pretty in my opinion. I wish I could, what looks a little better here is the 2-day, right? The 2-day bullish divergence, although getting pretty close to invalidating now, still has a little room to come down here, right? So like maybe we could work ourselves out here. Is that 2-day bull div going to confirm at the level we're bouncing from, or are we going to put in one more low there into that golden pocket to give us that 2-day bull div? This would probably be what I'm looking at, right? So I do think like once this 2-day bull div prints, right? The green dot on the daily will probably print first, very likely. It will. It's like progression of like correcting myself. It probably will. It could. It's definitely going to. The daily will print the green dot first. But if we get those bull divs into either this level or that golden pocket, guys, like that could be the higher time frame signal to look at for a bigger retracement to the upside. Now, I don't want to get too far into like how big I'm expecting that retracement to go. I'm expecting it to go to new all-time highs. Like it's way too soon to even think about that, right? But I do think that like if this is not going to be the low, we are approaching, if this is not a full-on bear market, right? We are probably approaching towards the end of this big crash, right? And that doesn't mean that we can't see 70. No, right? We could totally come down here and see 70. And then you guys know the line in the sand for me is really this POC at 67,000. Technically, we have a weekly naked point of control at 65.7. So once you start losing the POC and this weekly naked point of control, that's really bad in my opinion. That's very bearish. We're accepted back into the lower value. And at that point, I think there's at least, it's going to be more likely to at least see some more pain, right? Is it a 4-year cycle bear market, guys? It's going to be really hard to call that because this cycle and this, this cycle specifically has just been like all over the place with the macroeconomic situation that we're dealing with right now is just like something that Bitcoin's never really been a part of, right? So we don't know how it's going to react. But it's still line in the sand remains exactly the same. So, I'm okay if we come down. Maybe we come down later tonight or something like that into the golden pocket. Or maybe we just come and sweep that low, look for a rise to the upside. And then, like next real key levels, guys, like we're sitting here. If we're not going to bounce here, guys, we're like at the, oh my God, mommy, hold me level, right? So we'll see what happens. But if we do get the move to the upside, we got that volume profile giving us that beautiful, beautiful guide into where price will likely go next. And, with my luck recently, we're going to come up in here, right? We're going to, get a beautiful long setup down here, right? At 1 in the morning. We're going to come up here at 2 in the morning, fill this whole volume profile at 3 in the morning, and then at 4 in the morning, we're going to dump down. I'm going to miss all the moves. But yeah, I'm just joking. But for the most part, that's what I'm looking at, right? Volume profile above 81.2, POC 83,162, and then $86,118 at the value area high, and then $72,000 to $70,000 is going to be the golden pocket value area high confluence down below. And other than that, sitting on those dang hands, letting this chop play out, and hopefully we can get some more development in here and start to create a little bit more of a range so we can get a better context, right? That way I know, hey, if we come down here and sweep this low, sure, maybe there's not key support down below, but if I can get that SFP and get back into this range, it looks pretty good for a move back up to the high. So yeah, other than that, guys, that's pretty much what I'm looking at. Bitcoin just kind of bing-bonging around. Just be careful here with that 12-hour red dot. Let's check that 45-minute money flow, right? 12-hour red dot, 45-minute money flow crossing over into the green. Of course, that's completely chopped up. Nothing really to take away from there. Let's check that 30-minute money flow crossover into the red on the 30-minute, 8-hour red dot printing. So maybe that's it, right? Maybe we do get the it's kind of hard, right? Because that daily green dot is somewhat, it's not as close as I originally thought when I looked at it. So yeah, right now I would say 8-hour red dot printing with the 30-minute money flow. Probably a little bit more bearish short term, especially once you get that next 30-minute red dot. Let's see what happens when we get that next 30-minute red dot. If we are going to continue that downtrend, you guys know the plan. And yeah, that's kind of, I would be careful of that push down based off that 30-minute money flow, 8-hour green dot, red dot. I'm sorry. And the last time that happened, I believe, was right here, guys. Right here, I believe. Get away from me, malware. Yeah, I think it was like right here. Whoops, that's a horizontal line. I want a vertical line. Let's see, 30-minute. Let's see if that 8-hour red dot was happening at the same time. And it was, right? So the last 8-hour red dot with the 30-minute money flow crossover is what started the first big dump. Is this one about to give us a second big dump? We'll see. We'll see. Like I said, guys, I don't have skin in the game right now. In my opinion, there's not really a good trade to take unless we come up to one of the key levels that I just talked about, right? Or we see a setup, develop after the live stream. There's really nothing, in my opinion, that seems high probability. Does that mean that you can't long here and price comes up or can't short here and price goes down? Obviously you can, but that's not how I trade. That is gambling. I would rather wait to get an actual key level hit with some entry triggers actually firing on the chart for a high probability setup. So that's what I'll be looking for. We'll see if we get the drop down. If not, we get the shocker move up. Then we'll look for the shorts. But let me pull up chat here real quick. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Multi-Sig Dummy, bro. Thank you for the super chat. He says, Frankie Candles, what's up, CandleMafia? What up, Tony? What up, mods? When Moon, shout out to Multi-Sig Dummy. Moon in 7 weeks and 4 days at 3:42 p.m. That is when Moon. Shout out to Multi-Sig Dummy. That's a random time and a random amount of time. That was a joke. Don't clip that. Unless it's right. If it's right, if we randomly go to the moon at that point, please clip it and put it everywhere and say we said it from the beginning. I'm just kidding. But anyway, let's see. Shout out to Curtis, one of the most exhausted sentences I've ever seen. Let's see. Shout out to KDXB said, have you tried Frankie Rolls, famous Indian wraps? No, I have not. Is that a real thing? I can't tell if you're being serious. Shout out to KDXB. If so, I'm going to have to go ahead and find out where they got them because if they named it after me, I got to eat it, right? But let's see. Shout out to Mikey said, so your favorite indicator is Market Cipher B. Mikey, I would say it depends on what you're looking for, right? For me personally, Market Cipher B and Lux Algo are the main indicators that I use. I have them set to templates on the chart here. If I click Market Cipher, this won't change because Market Cipher is already up, right? That'll pull up Market Cipher, and then It's not a timer I had set. And then if I click my Lux Algo template, you can see my Lux Algo template fires up automatically. Oh, wait, actually, I want to see Market Cipher. Boom, boom, right there. Oh, my God, wait, I want to see Lux Algo. Boom, we're back. Wait, hang on, I want to see the naked points of controls. Boom. Boom, there we go, right? Actually, I want to see the volume profile. Boom, we got the VPVR. Hang on, I want no indicators. Take them all off. Boom, straight price action. If you're not using templates on your trading view, you're missing out. I promise you that. Yo, shout out to Lakeville. Yo, bro, shout out to you, man. I appreciate you for gifting those Frankie Candles memberships. Let's go, baby, let's go. Shout out to Lakeville. Bro, I appreciate you for giving those 5 Frankie Candles memberships, and shout out to Crypto Keith, Redman. Yo, shout out to Redman getting the membership. We got IJ in the chat. I think that says IJ or LJ. And shout out to Marlene and Vegas Claw. Shout out to you guys getting those free memberships. Welcome to the Mafia. Now you can't leave. Let's see. Shout out to Jay Charles. Said, do you change the inputs for different time frames on your indicators? Like you're like changing the like the settings? No. If I go down to the 5-minute or 12-minute in this case, right? Just go straight to the 12-minute, straight to the 30-minute, straight to the daily, straight to the weekly. Right? I don't change anything. I do have settings changed here on Market Cipher B. I have some things taken off to clean up the indicator, and then I just have some color changes. Lux Algo is like highly customizable. So at the weekly Smart Trail here as well. This has been holding us up the entire bull run. So, oh, man, are we going to hold it? Also, the 50-week moving average holding as well. But, yeah, this is, like, totally custom, right? If you get Lux Algo, it's not going to look like this because I have things turned on. I have things turned off. But I just have price action concept running. I have the Smart Trail running. And then I have the oscillator matrix down here as well. So, yeah, and then I just switch back and forth on them. Pretty simple. But yeah, that weekly money flow is still not looking good either, guys. I'm not going to lie. Shout out to Ken Saunders. Said, I love Frankie's financial advice. Shout out to Ken Saunders. Friendly reminder, guys. None of this is financial advice. I'm just a crazy guy on YouTube that screams at the camera. And, yeah, so never financial advice. You got to make your own trading decisions. And that is why I never, ever tell people what to do, right? This is just what I'm doing. And hopefully you guys learn from these live streams. Let's see. Shout out to Brock. Said Frankie called it months ago. Tariffs is the Black Swan event. Shout out to Brock. I don't want to be right about that, bro. I don't want to be right about that. But yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, like this is the. We'll see what happens, right? Like, how bad can it get? Like, I really don't want to lose this POC. Again, like 67K, the weekly naked point of control at 65.5 is like technically the last level. Like, I mean, for me personally, right? Could you come down here, sweep it, and then come back up for a higher low and a higher high? Maybe. Is the top in? Maybe. I am trading this level to level right now, and we are approaching. We'll see. Maybe tomorrow if we're at that golden pocket. For the love of God, right? This is the golden pocket when pulled from the low of the August 5th dump all the way to the all-time high, right? So it's you know, that's a big level to hold in my opinion, right? And even if you were going to look, yeah, like and then you're breaking above this previous all-time high. Huge level. And at that point, you're also below the 50-week moving average, right? Not the 580. The 50, right? 50-week moving average. We don't want to close the weekly below here, guys. It's getting sus. It's definitely getting sus. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Bojan. Shout out to you, bro. Said, I started a short at the top. That's right, bro. Now looking for bottom to start some longs. Let's go. Shout out to you, bro. Let's get it, baby. Cash out. I did not short the exact top. I was short from 102K, but I did close most of that trade on the breakdown. So I don't actually have that position open anymore. But yeah, actually my most painful thing right now is literally shorting the top of this wick and riding it down to the POC of the range. I'm going to say it again, guys, because I do not get butthurt over this stuff. I do not get butthurt, but and I'm definitely not butthurt. If anyone thinks I'm butthurt, you're wrong. But I closed the whole position here by accident, guys. I'm kidding. I was upset about it. But not really. But yeah, I caught that wick into the value area high, right? We saw the liquidity sitting on the heat map, shorted here, right? And then at first I was upset, right? Let me hide that local range, right? At first I was upset because I closed the whole position here, caught the scalp long here as well, but closed that whole position here. we were expecting to go to the value area low, which obviously did happen, right? We went to the value area high, went to the POC, went to the value area low, and in which case I would have wanted to take partial TP at the POC and then another take profit at the value area low, where I typically do leave some portion of that trade open in case we break down in a huge way, and then that's where I would look for a just hold a smaller part of that position to look for the bigger breakdown, right? And then although it would have been a small position, I would have been able to capitalize a little bit more on that move. But close the whole position up here. But it is what it is. Like I said, sometimes you got to have a little bit of a reality check. Sometimes I have to do that to myself. It's like, talked to the premium Discord about this the other day. Like, I made more money on this move down than I used to make in like 3 months or 4 months combined, right? And it's like, how am I going to be upset about that? So pretty crazy. But does kind of hurt, right? Because it is fun to be like, I'm short from that top. But yeah, it is what it is. There are infinite opportunities. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Crypto Anon. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Said, yo, sup, fam? Just shouting out a big happy birthday to Crypto Billy. We love you, bro. Yo, shout out to Crypto Billy. Let's go. Let's get it. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Happy birthday, bro. I did not know it was your birthday. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Drop the birthday cakes in the chat right now for the love of God. Show Crypto Billy some birthday love. And unlike Rob the Crypto Snob, he does not have a birthday every single day. So make sure you drop those birthday cakes in there for Crypto Billy right now. And let me just make sure I didn't miss any other super chats. Let's see here. Nope, we are good. Shout out to Multisig Dummy and Crypto Anon. Let's go. How did I not know it was Crypto Billy's birthday? That's unbelievable. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Jets. Said I lost more money in the last crash than I used to make in 4 months. Shout out to Jets. Yeah, I would say. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you counted my spot losses, that would probably be true for me as well. There's those birthday cakes. Let's go. Shout out to Crypto Billy, bro. Happy birthday. And shout out to you, man. It's crazy. I think Billy is turning, you're turning 24? I think Billy's turning like 24, 25. I'm not 100% sure. He's never told me his age. I would guess probably 24, 25. But shout out to Crypto Billy. Show him some love in the chat. And is today Tuesday? I think today's Tuesday. Crypto Billy has his X Space tonight. Billy Goat Tales, 9 p.m. on X. Go check him out. If you're not there, I don't know. You're going to lose all your trades or something. I don't know. But shout out to Crypto Billy. Go check him out. I'll try to remind you guys at the end of the stream. Let's see. Let's get him a Mrs. Candles. Actually, guys, funny story about Mrs. Candles, and if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Funny story about that is some random Mafia member just had that shipped out to us. I don't know where it came from. I don't know who it came from. I suspect it was somebody I know. Actually, now that I think about it, I think Crypto Billy was on that suspicion list. Shout out to Crypto Billy. I don't know who birthed it, but she wound up being a part of this channel from the very beginning. So, yeah, shout out to whoever sent me the blow-up doll. But let's see. Shout out to R. Pink. Says, too old to be happy about a birthday. I don't know how old you are, brother, but I feel like that. And it's funny. I felt like that ever since I turned 26. I was like, I don't know, want to celebrate anymore. This is like, I'm getting old now. And I look back now and wish I was just enjoying my 26th birthday. So I assume that's just how it keeps going. It's like, oh, man, I'm 33 now. Oh, I don't want to celebrate, right? When you're 43, you're going to be like, man, I should have celebrated at 33. At least that's my experience. But, yeah, let's see. Yo, shout out to Aaron. Says, I made money today and got myself a Mrs. Candles, too. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Yo, sure, random. Yo, you guys are wild. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on. So, like, my overall breakdown on Bitcoin, guys, is I do personally listen. Fear is at an absolute extreme, right? Obviously, like anything short of like another crazy news event, another crazy black swan or something, like, is it possible to just, I'm not expecting a big nuke through this level. I do think that we could potentially continue a little bit lower, which actually I think we did. We came down and made another low here. So, I wouldn't be surprised with that 30-minute money flow coming out with the 8-hour green dot or red dot that we continue down a little bit more. But again, I do think overall, guys, right, especially with our weekly green dot, obviously this could get rejected at the zero line a bunch of times. But I don't know. We got a daily green dot incoming, money flow kind of wiggling around. 2-day potential bull div, right? I do think like the majority of this dump is probably over. right? Which probably has a pretty high chance of being correct, right? Because unless we're going to dump another 60%, another 30% or something. But, yeah, I mean, 2-day bull div, this confirms we have come down to the weekly naked point of control. And if we do come down one more time, we are coming down to massive, massive support, guys. Like, you have to get some kind of bounce at some point, right? Like, some kind of significant bounce at some point, right? Now, again, is that going to send us off into new all-time highs or not? We'll have to assess the situation as it comes, right? Because, again, money flow on the into the red on the 2-day, money flow coming out on the 3-day, 4-day, 5-day money flow coming out, 6-day money flow. Like, these 5 and 6-day money flows looking for a crossover into the red. Now, I'm not trying to cause fear, right? Like I said, like, I would not be looking for shorts here. At the end of the day, right, the shorts that we have taken in the premium Discord recently, right, or, over the past couple of months, let me get rid of this moving average, bada boom, right? Like, the shorts are not to be had unless you're looking for, like, scalp entries, right? But, like, the shorts are not to be had down here, right, in my opinion, right? Like, sure, you could catch a short from the top here all the way down, but, like, the big shorts that we took, right, were up here in this range, right? Took a short at 102K, held that all the way down, right? Then a short at took a couple of them in here. I think I took another one at 97-ish, maybe up here. But up here, up here, up here. Like, the shorts were to be had from higher, right? Like, if you're looking at this from a higher time frame perspective, if you're not holding a short from the highs, right, like, this is not the place to short. We've already gotten a massive move down. Now, does it mean you can't continue? You can't look for a little retracement, catch a little short here? Sure. But if you're really, like, in my opinion, right, like, after big moves down like this, even if we come to the golden pocket, not the place to short. It's probably a better idea to start looking for bounces, even if that bounce is just going to be a lackluster bounce, because remember money flow, right? Like, listen, even though I don't think the bear market is here, right? Like I've been very vocal about this. I do not think this is the bear market. Could it be? Absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know everything. I have been wrong before. I will be wrong again at some point. But with this money flow coming out, guys, like, it could indicate the trend is going to continue to the downside, right? So, like, but I do think locally we're probably, especially if we come on down here, like, I'd be looking for a bounce. Whether it's going to be come up, put a lower high in, and continue the downtrend, we'll reassess that situation. But, like, right now, we'll see. We'll see if we can get these bounces. But, yeah. Those are the key levels that I'm looking at. If you just tuned in, scrub to the beginning of the stream. I go over the analysis in depth on Bitcoin. Let's see. Shout out to Dave Digital in the chat. What is going on, Dave? Welcome in, bro. Welcome. Let's see. We're going to take a look at Ethereum really, really quickly here. Oh, good Lord. Dave came into chat and starts a ruckus. Shout out to Dave Digital. I'm not even going to read what he said. But shout out to Dave Digital. Giant head and shoulders. I do know what you're talking about. Who said it? Shout out to Crypto Cookie. Let's see here. Yeah, I think probably, I don't know, maybe you're looking at something like on the, maybe you're looking for something like that, right? Shoulder, head, shoulder. Oh my God, bears retest, good at zero, right? Maybe something like that. I think that's probably what you're looking at. We'll have to see. Could be, though, right? We won't really know until hindsight, right? Maybe, we'll see. If we start making a right shoulder, kind of look at that and be like, what does that mean? Or it should actually be more like, what does that mean? Something like that. But yeah, I think that's what you're looking at. Could be, right? Too soon to tell, right? Depends. If we just dump down here like that, it wasn't a head and shoulders, right? If we rip up here, right? It really depends on how it shakes out. But yeah. Let's see. Shout out to AV Creations. Said, thank you for the great stream. Shout out to AV Creations. I appreciate you so much, bro. Thank you for saying that. Frankie Candles, can you check the gigantic head and shoulders on Sui? Second shoulder completes around $1.06. Will ETH make a lower low now? We're going to take a look at ETH right now. Okay, so let's take a quick look at ETH here. All right, so on Ethereum, let me actually come over to our actual chart here. Boom. All right, let's take a quick look at ETH. All right. Zoom out here, pull up our key levels. Where are they at? Okay. So this is our context. Let me grab this weekly folder, drag it all the way up here. So yeah, I mean, to be honest, right? Like, we get the rejection out of our range, right? This range has been pulled ever since back here, right? Or I don't want to say ever since back here, but you know, we pulled it as we were bing-bonging around down here. But it's not like we did not draw these levels the other day, right? These levels have been on the chart ever since we were down here, right? And look how well it was respected. Get above the value area low, flip the PLC back to the high, deviate above the high, back into the range, kind of fake out down, right? Like, it's not 100%. You didn't get to move all the way to the POC, but we fake out one more time. Then what happens? You get accepted into the range, back to the POC, back to the low. Flip the POC, back to the high, deviation above the high, back into the range, back to the POC, back to the low, right? And now we have the big drop to the downside. Unbelievable, right? But we got the beautiful bearish back test, right? Come down, bearish retest on that value area low before losing the range and coming much lower. So right now, the range I'm looking at, right, two ranges that we're looking at, is this little range down here. This is our first context, and now that we're losing that level, right, we kind of have to look at the larger context. But down here, we looked at this as our local range. We were getting stuck below the POC. You guys will remember this on a lower time frame, right? We were like, oh my God, if we get stuck below this POC, we're probably going down to the low on top of the weekly and the dailies that we had down here. These levels did not hold. We tried to reclaim them. They couldn't hold again, and we lost them, right? So now if we... now that we've lost that level, right, like what do we do here, right? We're looking at this. We're like, okay, well, we nuked right through this range, so I'm going to go ahead and turn off that mini profile, and we're going to turn on the larger 2022 bear market volume profile, right? So let's, boom, right? And I'm going to take this off the chart, and this zone down here is very, very large. I'm going to get rid of this blue box, but this is the range that we're looking at, right? And to be quite honest, this is, yeah, I'm going to get rid of some of those lower levels. We'll just look at the ones that are significant, right? Ethereum at 1415. This is absolutely brutal, right? And we actually talked about this yesterday. If we can't reclaim the POC, 786, and get the move back up here, right? You get stuck under that POC. Where is the next likely place for price to go? This is just volume profiles. This is not like some kind of like super secret advanced technical analysis, super hard strategy to understand. It is just understanding that once you get accepted into a range, the next likely place for price to go is the POC. When you get rejected below the POC and accepted, you are going to be looking towards that value area low. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't think it was going to happen this fast, but if we can't reclaim this POC, we're going to be looking for the value area low. Now, we do have some confluence down here, if I pull this back up, right? Weekly naked point of control, I think it's a daily... Yeah, daily naked point of control, weekly naked point of control, and the value area low. So, like, the next real level of support, in my opinion, from a higher time frame perspective, is going to be sitting down here. And it's like, and we were looking at this. We were looking at this yesterday, guys. Like, can't make it up. So we can get rid of this blue box, right? Because it did not act as support. We lost the 786, lose the 786. This is bad for Ethereum, guys. Like, this, like I talked about this yesterday. If we lose this 786, not good for Ethereum. This is the 786. Let me get rid of some of these lower levels. You have a bunch of lower levels down here as well. But I'm just going to hide these for now, right? Just to clean up the chart. This level here is 786 is pulled from the bear market lows all the way to the all-time high. If you don't hold the golden pocket, you're looking to hold that 786. If you don't hold the 786, 100% looking for the bigger drop to the downside. I did not want to lose this level. We lost it. Take it off the chart. So... next stop, in my opinion, I'd be looking down here towards 13. I'd be looking at about 1,300. Value area low sitting just at about 1,300 bucks. That's where I'm looking, right? And it's just simple volume profile. Stuck underneath, go to the POC, lose the POC, come down to the low. Very simple. Well, if you want to dodge that bullet, you got to get up here, and you got to get above that POC. And even then, right, you could just lose the POC again and come down, right, for the full fill of the range. Once you get accepted into these profiles, guys, there is a very high probability that, number one, you're going to the POC. Number two, you're going to the value area low, right? Very high probability of at least coming to the POC, if not very likely to fill the whole thing. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I'd be looking at on Ethereum, right? And, you know, market cipher analysis has been the same forever, right? High time frame money flow in the red. You anticipate the downtrend to continue. Is this the time to short Ethereum? I mean, I wouldn't short on this big red candle, right? I would have to, me personally, I would need some kind of retracement, right? Short here, get a retracement, right? If you short here, as price is going up, you get the move down, right? So, like, for me personally, no trade to be had here, in my own personal opinion. 5-day red dot printing, 6-day red dot confirmed, and your weekly green dot is just still looming. But again, what did we have recently on Ethereum, guys, that we talk about all the time? The weekly money flow crossover. Now, once that weekly money flow crosses over into the red, guys, this is a huge bearish sign for any asset you look at. Any asset you look at, right? Doesn't matter what it is. And, you know, unless you're, like, in the midst of starting a bull run like we were here, maybe you get little fake outs. But at the end of the day, these weekly money flow crossovers, even on Ethereum, although we do get, like, more noise on Ethereum than we do on Bitcoin, like, not very often you get that weekly money flow crossover, more downside to come, right? More downside to come. And you can just see how beautiful that happens, right? Not good. Not good. But, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Coming down here, right? Like, I don't know. Is this the end for Ethereum forever? Maybe not. I mean, maybe we could even pull this as a massive, 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 massive range. Right? Now we can just kind of pull it like this. Oh, man. I don't even know what my ETH portfolio looks like, guys. I don't even look at it. But it's it's definitely not green. But yeah, I mean, honestly, you could potentially look at something like this. So yeah, $1,000, right? If you want to fill the entire huge range here. Right, in my opinion, right, what would I look for here to look for like a potential higher low and a continuation up? Well, I would look for the Fibonacci retracements, right? I should probably pull it to that high, but like I would be looking for that golden pocket or that 786. We came down to the golden pocket, we got the bounce. Second time we came down to it, we lost it. We lose the golden pocket. You look to go to the 786. You lose the 786. Oh man. So yeah, could be. You know, this is probably. Let me actually see this real quick. So, yeah, I would be looking at the bear market range and maybe even this. But, yeah, this is a good Lord. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. But, yeah, weekly money flow crossover into the red. I mean, this is why, you know, I wouldn't have been expecting any kind of massive move to the upside, right? Only lackluster bounces. We've been talking about this ever since back here, guys. Ever since back here. Once money flow on the daily crosses into the red, we only are anticipating lackluster bounces, lower highs, lower lows to continue your downtrend, right? Especially when you have the daily money flow crossover. This never came back into the green, right? So even from a daily perspective, there's no reason to be looking for a massive breakout, right? Unless you have something like this where it's like, oh my God, we have money flow coming up, right? But then this momentum wave totally looked like it wanted to come back down. But, you know, has never come into the red. And then you have your 2-day shortly following up here, right? So if the daily money flow brought you down from here to here, now your 2-day money flow is crossing into the red. Oh, boy, right? Then your 3-day. Well, your 3-day actually crossed over with the daily. 4-day had been in the red, too. I mean, this money flow has been in the red forever. And now our 6-day and our weekly are in the red. Good Lord. Yeah, pray for ETH. Pray for ETH. Not that we're at levels that we didn't expect, but yeah, we'll see. If you get a bounce from wherever we are right now, I would just be careful of your POC. POC sits at 1635. And then this is, yeah, value area high sitting at $2,000. And then your golden pocket, right? Where's this pulled from? Yeah, your golden pocket starts at 1840. Actually, hang on. Let me pull this on the daily. Yeah, I'm going to pull it from here. So, yeah, golden, you know, key resistance, golden pocket 786 value area high, sitting between $1,850 and $2,000, right? But locally, you got to get above that PLC. You don't get above this PLC, that's your first order of duty. I'd be looking for that to fill in full at some point. So we'll see if we can get some noise to come in there. But, man, absolutely brutal for Ethereum. Wait until you see Solana. Yeah, I mean, Solana's still kind of, I mean, to be quite honest, right, like, we were down at these prices yesterday, too, but, yeah, it's, brutal. Quick look at Solana here, guys. Still just sitting in our same area, right? We knew once you lost, I'm not going to go over the whole thing, right? I've done it so many times that it's like, I don't want to be super repetitive. We had a golden pocket here. Once you lose the golden pocket, you look to go to the 786. Once we couldn't reclaim that 786 daily, we look to come down here between 107 or 108 and $101, right? Value area high PLC confluence. We wicked below it, and now we're kind of just sitting right in that zone. So we're at kind of in between support and resistance, right? Like if you can't get back above this value area high, obviously the POC is right underneath you. Start losing that POC, guys. Very similar to Ethereum. Like could be looking down towards $81 for Solana. If we don't get a bounce here, right? Like we have to lose that POC. I mean, yeah, daily grit. Like hopefully this daily bull div can like bring you up somewhat. But again, like at the end of the day on a higher time frame, like most people, right? Like if you're out there and you're trying to learn how to trade, most people are like, oh my God, it's time to start shorting this thing. Like, not like, could it keep going down? Yes, right? But this is not the time to start getting interested in shorts. You've already had a huge, massive move down. This is like very similar to when people get into the bull run here and they're like, oh, this must be a good time to buy because Bitcoin's approaching new all-time highs, right? Like, could it eventually go back up and you'll be in profit? Maybe, right? Obviously. But the, like things like Solana, again, not saying it can't go down, right? Even if I were fully bearish on this thing completely going down, after this massive move down with almost, very little relief, like this is just, it's in my opinion too late, right? Like, so like to look for shorts personally, right? So like, could you look for scalp shorts maybe, right? And then maybe those turn into a little bit more of a swing, sure. But yeah, like you don't just want to like see this and be like, oh my God, now I'm going to start feeling really bearish, right? Like the sentiment in this market has been garbage for so long. You're late to the party if you're starting to feel bearish now, right? And again, I don't want to make that sound like, don't be bearish because we're not going to go down anymore. But I just try to save people from like, trying to sell the bottom or buy a top, right? It's the same thing up here. I said the same exact thing up here. When we come up, right, and I don't say this to be like, you should have listened to me, right? Like I could have been wrong too, right? And I always say that. But as we pump up here, all the altcoins, right, alts are going crazy, whatever. And, people are like, should I buy this? It's doing really well. And I always say, right, like, could you buy it here and it could go up, continue to go up? Yes, absolutely. Would I ever buy a giant green candles like that after you get a massive move to the upside? Probably not, right? There's just no reality that exists where I see something launching like that and I buy on the top of a candle. Same thing here, right? You've already enjoyed a massive 67% dump down. Now, we all know alts can go down more than 67%. But again, it's just like, at this point, it's like I'd probably start looking for some kind of relief, right? And then on that relief, you could look for your key levels of resistance, which may or may not be sitting here between $119 and $127, near your golden pocket, 786 Fibonacci retracement, value area high confluence. And then start to look for potential short positions on the retracement, right? Because like anytime you get a big dump, is the best short position to be had here? No, that was the worst time to short. Is it here after a big drop down? No, worst time to short. Was it here? I don't know. Is that going to be, it was the worst time to short here, wrecked. Worst time to short here, wrecked. Worst time to short here? Or you think it's just going to go down a straight line? I don't know. I'm asking you. I'm just kidding. Obviously, this could dump down in a straight line. But again, you want to wait for an actual setup to present itself, right? That's all I'm trying to say. But, I mean, yeah, we're just still at that key level of support. Lose that POC at about 101.89, I would say. 101. Yeah, we'll call it 101.89. Lose that. $80, right? Value area low sits at about $81. So we'll see what happens. If we can get out of here and we get some kind of a pump, right? We could break out of this value area high. I'd be looking 786 golden pocket value area low. Again, that is sitting between 120.60 and 127.49. Once you flip that level to support, maybe you can get your move back up to your value PLC. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But that's the key levels that I'm looking at right now. Again, you have some kind of daily bullish divergences forming. We can't ignore this, right? Like same thing on Ethereum. When you have Bitcoin. When you have these bullish divergences looking to form, you have to take that for what it's worth, right? Like especially on the 2-day, right? If we print this 2-day bull div, it's a 2-day bull div. Money flow might not be agreeing with it, right? Money flow's coming out, right? But even that 2-day bull div is the same thing here. We had a 2-day bull div here, right? Lower lows, higher lows. You get a push. Money flow's going against us, right? But you could still look for that move to the upside. You just have to understand the context. This move up, because it's very simple. Because money flow is crossing into the red, we look for the bounce, right? If the question is, I have a bull div, but money flow is coming out. This is how you answer that question. Should I long it? You can long it, right? As long as you understand that money flow indicates a longer-term trend, and that bounce off the 2-day bull div is likely going to be lackluster for a lower high and a lower low. Right? So when this 2-day bull, if this 2-day bull div does end up printing, lower lows, higher lows. We can look for a bounce, right? But it has to be looked at as potential lower highs and lower lows until proven otherwise, right? Maybe the daily money flow starts crossing back into the green on our way up. That would look pretty good, right? Then what's the 2-day money flow doing? Is it starting to curve back up? Does it look like it wants to come back up? If that's the case, that might be our little correction here into the red, and then maybe it comes back into the green, and you get a much bigger move up, right? But until that happens, right? And there's an exact example here. Lower lows, higher lows, right? This is on the daily. Money flows in the red. Does that mean that you can't long the bull div? Absolutely not. You can look for the long, but just understand, hey, when we start getting up to these Fibonacci levels, the areas where we have the highest probability of putting a lower high in, when you approach these levels, this is where you want to start looking to either take profit, right? Or maybe look to close the whole trade in case you do get that lower high and that lower low. And usually there's things on the charts kind of pointing towards whether that's going to happen or not. So there you go. Let's see. Let's see, bada boom, bada bing, bada boom. Let me just check the super chats really quickly. Shout out to Dark Zenin. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. He says, can you please take a look at Compound? I'm down 74% and my liquidation is at $34. Do you see any chance of it going back up before more downside? Thank you. Shout out to Dark Zenin. Dark Zenin. I don't know how exactly to say that. But yeah, we can take a look at Compound. I do have to ask you one question though, bro. And this is obviously just a little bit of Frankie Candle's love. Why are you going to get liquidated? Why are you not using a stop loss, my friend? Please, for the love of God, people, use your stop losses, Mafia, and you will never, ever, 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 ever have to worry about getting liquidated. Now, if you enter that trade, you know, sometimes I'll enter a trade if I'm on super high leverage, and I mean, very, very rarely, right? Like, if I ever get liquidated, unless it's like a complete screw up on my part, anytime I get liquidated, like, it's like I'm just going to throw this on, and if I get liquidated, I'm treating it as a stop loss, right? But yeah, God. Shout out to you, bro. I'm sorry you're in that position. Just see the situation for what it is. Learn from it, right? Understand what you did wrong, which in this case, if you really did not plan on ever getting, if you didn't want to get liquidated, the mistake that you made was you simply did not set a stop loss, which honestly is a nice mistake, right? Because it's very simple to fix. Just set the stop loss, right? But yeah, don't get discouraged or, you know, hopefully you're not like down too much. I haven't looked at Compound in so long. So yeah, all right. So this chart's kind of chopped. But yeah, hopefully you're not wrecked too bad, bro. But that's why I'm here to hopefully help you out. Quick reminder, super chats do not guarantee that we look at your altcoin. So before you spend money on that super chat, just understand does not guarantee that we look at it. I do just happen to have a few minutes here, so I'm going to take a look at it for our boy. And hopefully, what do you say? Liquidation at where'd he go? No, where'd he go? Liquidation is at $34. Oh, good Lord. Yikes. Well, I can't exactly, I'll tell you what I think about Compound, but regardless of what I say, you should not make decisions based off what I say, right? Because guess what? I could be wrong, and you have to make your own financial decisions. If you think it's going lower, I mean, at this point, me personally, I'll tell you what I would do personally. If my liquidation was sitting here at $34, I would just close the trade. Me personally, I'm not telling you to do that. I would personally just close the trade, right? You could YOLO it, right? I mean, I guess it's not really going to be that big of a difference, right? Maybe you'll save a little money if you close it now, but I mean, it really depends, right? That's what I mean. Everybody's in their own situation. Like, you know, for me, I would very rarely be in a situation where I'm going to get liquidated, but if I was, I'd probably just cut it at this point because all you got to do is sneeze to the downside here, and you're licked, which is it's not too far away, but let me see if I can get some key levels here. So you do have a daily sitting right here. Will you hold it is the question. Let's see here. All right, doesn't look like you're holding it as of right now. No weekly. Let me see the naked points of controls really quick. Splashed in my face. Weekly red dot. Money flow crossover into the red. I would just generally expect at least some kind of more downside for this, right? In general. And again, Zenin, please do not make decisions based off what I'm saying right now. This is not financial advice. You have to make your own decisions. I could be wrong. Full disclaimer. So never make a decision based off what I say, right? But Next key levels that I would personally be looking at is you do have a weekly naked point of control right here. You got another weekly naked right here. Maybe you have some dailies down here. Come on. No daily naked point of control. Nothing. Okay. Yikes. Monthly, and this is a actual monthly naked point of control, so it's weekly and weekly and monthly MPOC. So that would be a big level to watch. But, I mean, right now, listen, here's the thing, right? Like, you're at the value area low of a macro range, or you're below the macro value area low of the range, right? So, again, like, I wish I had a crystal ball, which I definitely don't have. I swear to God. But if we do continue down here, yeah, man. If I were in a trade right now, if I were in a long and I was about to get licked at 34, yeah. And me personally, I would just close it, right? It's a bad trade. So close it, right? That's what I would say. I'm not telling you to do that. But, yeah, it just should have been closed way further up, obviously. You have to have that invalidation for your actual trades. But, yeah, I mean, weekly red dot money flow crossover into the red, that's like just not a good look, like longer term, right? Or medium term, I should say. But yeah, I mean, your only hope right here is like, I mean, we could try to see, you got like some form of like maybe a bull div forming on the 2 hour. Maybe you get some bull divs below the volume profile, right? Because like obviously when you get to the value area low and you start deviating below, this is typically where I like to look for longs. But that does not mean you're going to bounce before $34. You could, but I would be careful, right? Like this, yeah, like your goal is to get some kind of a bounce. You got to get above here. Like this is the key level you want to flip. You got to get above 37.78. And that would give you a decent bit of a chance to get a little bit more of a move to the upside. But who knows with that weekly red dot how far this thing can go down. So yeah, I wish I can give you a better answer, Zenon. But at the end of the day, I would take this as a lesson. You're very close to liquidation. You know, it's up to you if you want to hold it and try to see if it comes back up or if you just want to close it and take your losses now. But take it as a lesson, right? Like that trade, let me see. Yeah, like wherever you took that long position from, like ask yourself like what you did wrong. Like what made you enter the trade? What strategy were you using? What was your risk management strategy, right? I assume, and this is to be helpful, right? This is many people. I've been in your position, Zenon, a billion times, right? Probably worse situations than you're in right now, a billion times. So take it from someone who's gone through this 100 times. Look at it. What strategy did you use? Did you use a strategy or did you see it pumping and just enter in a position, right? Because if you did that, I don't know if someone told you to do that, but they told you to gamble. If they told you to do that, that's not how you trade. It's not how you're going to make money, right? If you did use a strategy, make sure it's legit, right? I would just, if you use a strategy, I would mark that as a win, right? What was your strategy? If you had one, great. If your strategy was long because it was going up, then that was not a strategy. Never do that again, right? What was your risk management strategy? I assume you didn't have one because of the situation, but that's okay, right? Now moving forward, you will have a risk management strategy. We have tons of videos, and we talk about risk management on this channel all the time, right? There's many different ways you could do it. I only like to risk up to 1% to 2% of my account on each individual trade, meaning if I get stopped out, I only lose 1%, which puts you in a much better situation because all you need to do, if you put your entire account on this and you get liquidated, you lose your entire account. You blow your entire account up, and that hurts. I've done that a million times, right? If you only risk 1% to 2% of your account, let's say 1% for easy math, you literally have to lose like 99 trades in a row to blow up your account. That means you could lose a ton of trades in a row and still have your winners pay for your losers, right? Plus profit. So what strategy were you using? If there was no strategy, you were gambling, and that's fine. Just don't do it again unless, you're okay losing your money. I'm not even being sarcastic. It's okay to gamble. I think we're all adults. We can do what we want. If I want to go take $1,000, I want to go gamble on a 100x leverage position, which I never do. But if I wanted to, would I do it? Sure, right? But I would just understand the risk. So what was your risk management strategy? If there wasn't, check out the channel, go through all the videos, or just Google risk management and different strategies that you can use, right? Everyone has different plans. And then, what was your plan, right? Not just your strategy, but what was your plan for the trade? Where were you planning to long it up to? Because chances are, if you're new to crypto, I don't know if you are, you could be trading for 10 years for all I know, right? But I assume, right, the fact that you're about to get liquidated down here, chances are you probably entered a long on this massive pump to the upside because you thought it was a massive breakout. You're like, oh my God, let me long on a green candle. I assume, right? It could be wrong. But if that is the case, just take a step back, go back to the drawing board, learn about risk management, find an actual strategy. Longing and gambling like that will lose you 9 times out of 10, or make you lose 9 times out of 10. And then have a plan for your trade. Like for me, the way I trade on the volume profiles, and we have tons of free content on this on the YouTube channel, I would never, ever just long on and again, I don't know if you did this. I have no idea what your actual situation is. But if you're longing on a big breakout like this, like why would I not long here? Well, just based on my strategy, right? Like, are there times where I would long above a volume profile? Of course, right? But the situation has to call for it, right? Every breakout is not what it seems, right? Every breakout is not just a massive pump to new all-time highs. A lot of YouTubers, oh my God, all season, compound's going to $1 million now because it's pumping, right? But everybody gets wrecked trying to do that, right? So I would recommend not doing that. Me personally, this is above a value area high. I wouldn't necessarily be looking for longs up here, right? Doesn't mean I wouldn't look for a long, but I would have to wait for some kind of a retest into support to take that long position, right? So, yeah, I would see, so for me personally, right, like not risk management, but the trading plans, right? Typically what we like to do is we like to long at the lows of the volume profile and short at the highs of the volume profile, right? And you have a much higher probability of having your trade play out in that case. Now, I'm not saying you have to trade our strategy. There's a million good strategies out there. But like, for example, like I'm going to cherry pick the good situations here, right? I'll explain that it's not going to happen every single time. But we like to look for longs on deviations below the low or flips of value area lows to support and resistance, from resistance to support, right? So once you get into this volume profile and hold it as support, there's a high probability you're going to get that move into the POC. This is a take profit one, right? Once I take that profit at this position, at that POC, I am moving my stop loss to break even more often than not, right? Meaning I have paid myself money, and now if price reverses and stops me out of that trade, I lose $0. Not only do I lose $0, I get to keep the money that I paid myself with up here, right? And then this also keeps the opportunity for more gains, right? Because the full idea here is get above the value area low. Once you get accepted in here, you're looking to go to the POC, flip the POC, and go to the value area high, right? So you get in here, POC is TP1, value area high is TP2. Not, oh my God, we're breaking out, let me long, right? This is where I'm actually looking for shorts most of the time, right? And then if you're looking for a short, what I'm doing is I am simply looking to get back into the range, right? There's very specific ways we trade this entry-wise, but you look for your entry confirmations up here. Once you get back into the range, bearish retest, you get accepted into the range. The next likely place for price to go is going to be that POC. The POC acts as a magnet for price. Once you get into the range, there's a very high probability you're going to get at least to the POC. If you don't get to the if you get to the POC, if you don't get to the value area low, you'll very likely get to the POC, right? So here you enter in. TP1 is the POC. You come right down to that POC pretty quickly. That's take profit one, stop loss to break even. In this case, you would have won this full trade, right? You would have TP1, TP2, beautiful trade, right? Get back in. You would have hit a TP1 and it would have stopped you out for profit, right? You would have gotten, let's say you took $100 in profit here, moved your stop loss to break even. You lost the trade, but you made $100, right? Then you could look for more shorts up here. Once you get back into the range, right? You go back down to the POC, and it's not as easy. Like, you have to know what to look for. It's not that easy, obviously. But you get back into the range, look for price to ride back down towards the POC. If you lose the POC, you go to the value area low, right? Taking profit here, moving your stop loss to break even, and that's how you can use a risk management strategy. Like, that's just generally how I have a plan for my trade. I wouldn't really, that is kind of risk management as well, but I have an actual thought process into where I'm expecting my trade to go. And it is always different depending on the context. But I always have a trade. If you do not have a trade for your plan, you don't have a trade. You are gambling, right? So that's what I would ask yourself. Hopefully this helps you, Zenin, or Zenin. I don't know how to say her name. So yeah, it's I can't tell you whether to hold it or close it, but what was your strategy? If you didn't have one, find one. Whether it's mine, I highly recommend the volume profiles. I have a whole YouTube channel here. It's basically a free trading course. What was your strategy? What was your risk management strategy? What was the plan for the trade? And then learn from the mistakes, right? So there you go. Hopefully that helps you out. And this is no shit. I'm not trying to put you down at all. I'm just trying to help you. And I don't think it was mean or anything. But shout out to Zenin. Take it as a learning lesson. And yeah, there you go. Hopefully that helps you out. I wish I could tell you whether to hold it or or not hold it, but that's not how trading works either. All right, like I could say, hey, I would hold it. It might bounce, right? And then it doesn't bounce, and then you lose money. And yeah, kind of a difficult situation. I'm sorry you're in that situation, but hopefully it helps you out. Shout out to Crypto Sharknado. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Said, curious if 75,000 being a fib sequence matters much. Shout out to Crypto Sharknado. I'm not 100% sure exactly what you mean by that. Like, is the number like 75025 part of the Fibonacci sequence? Is that what you're saying? Maybe it matters if that's what you're saying. I don't know exactly if that's what you mean, but I don't know. Or I don't know if you're saying it's a maybe you're saying it's a fib level. It's not a golden pocket or a 786. So it might be a different fib level. But I'm not 100% sure exactly what you mean. But yeah, I don't know if it's 75025 part of the Fibonacci sequence. Like I don't know. But shout out to Crypto Sharknado. I'll look in the chat to see if I can get a little more clarity on your question. But shout out to Simon. Thank you for the super chat. He says, bought Bitcoin when it was worth 105,000, 85,000. Any chance of getting that back if I hold? Don't need the money anytime soon. Well, shout out to Simon. That's actually a really good question. I like the context, right? Like now I can work a little bit more with that. The chances of seeing like 85,000 again, me personally. Now you have to understand, no YouTuber. It doesn't matter who they are. It literally doesn't matter who they are, unless they're Satoshi. Nobody knows, including me. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. I personally think that we will see new highs at some point. I would never tell the Mafia, hold on, guys, we're definitely going to see new highs. You have to take information and do your own research and make your own conclusions. I understand that I could be wrong, and I'm fully willing to take the risk that I'm taking, right? So me personally, I don't I think we will see new highs eventually, right? I think we'll see new highs in this cycle. If not, if you actually didn't invest money, like you said, if you invested money that you don't need, right, which is a smart thing, good job on that, Bitcoin's going to be higher in the next 5 years, 10 years, right? Like Bitcoin goes up and to the right. Just look at the historical chart, right? Anybody who bought the top, and 105K is pretty close to the top, people freaked out. They bought the top here. It went down like crazy, and eventually they were up. People bought the top here, and they went crazy, and eventually they were up. People bought the top here. They went crazy, and eventually they were up, right? So for me, right, I would personally hold, right? I'm not telling you to do that. Not financial advice. I'm not telling you to hold. But for me personally, right, like, it depends on how much of your capital you invested, how much dry powder do you have on the side. But I personally think we'll see new highs. But if we don't, right, I'm prepared for that situation as well. But yeah, I think 85 is, I think we'll see 85 again. But I mean, listen, if we do just capitulate down even more into a massive bear market, I would let it drop, right? And like just keep buying dips, right? I don't know what percentage of your capital you put in at those prices, like 105. But like the biggest thing I would take away from that is like, if I were you, I would sit on my hands, right? Like this thing, if it goes into a massive bear market and we have to wait for the next cycle to go into all-time highs and you don't need that money, I would wait for that, right? And you don't think you'll need the money over the next few years, then I would just wait for that. So yeah, like that's kind of what I would do, right? But if you get a little retracement to the upside, that's where you're kind of going to be in a hard situation, right? Because it's like, do you just take your money off the table and just wait? What I really would do if I were you is I would sit back and look at what you did, right? That way, hopefully you didn't invest your entire bag, right? Because you want to look back at what you did, right? You bought at $105,000. And again, this is I bought my fair share of tops, right? So you waited, right, until maybe you heard Bitcoin in the news, or maybe like you woke up one day, you're like, I haven't checked Bitcoin in a while. Let me check it. And you're like, it's really high. Maybe I should start buying it. This is the worst time to buy, obviously, after big moves to the upside, right? So if you got excited hearing, oh my God, Bitcoin's making new all-time highs, I feel like you started feeling FOMO when you bought in here. Remember that feeling and try not to do it again, because it's going to get you every time. It's going to get you every single time, or it's going to try to get you every single time. So I would just be careful, right? So just remember this for the next time, right? Because if you did end up buying the top of the bull run, right, if this is the top, which again, I don't personally believe, but if it is, right, it's definitely possible if this is the top and you bought the tippy top, right, and we go down to a massive bear market, remember that when we're down here at the lower prices, right? Think like, okay, well, I made the worst mistake last cycle buying the top. Let me try to buy the bottom, right? And then even if you don't buy the bottom here and you're just going to hold that bag, you don't want to invest in Bitcoin, you just want to hold it till you can get out, and it doesn't happen until the next cycle, which again, I don't think that's the case. I think we will make new highs personally. But if you do that, right, and we come up, right, you're not going to get FOMO again at the top. Just remember the last time. Just be like, oh my God, no, I should have bought Bitcoin down here. Like if you buy Bitcoin in the six figures, after it's on the news and all that stuff, it's usually a bad signal, right? Or it's usually a bad time to buy. And that's like most people don't know that, right, until they make the mistake, right? So yeah, can't tell you whether to buy or sell, but I, me personally, I do think even if we come down a little bit more, we can get a significant retracement at least to 85K, if not a little bit higher or into all-time highs. But worst case scenario, if you went back down into a bear market, I would just say hold. Again, hopefully this kind of shows you the kind of scenario there. Buy the top. Oh my God, I'm the worst. So it's in profit. Bought the top. Oh my God, I'm the worst. In profit. Bought the, it's like eventually, no matter what happens, you are going to end up in profit. Very likely. Not financial advice, right? But it has been the case for an eerie amount of times in a row. So yeah, hopefully that helps you guys out. Let's see. Yo, shout out to the Fibinator. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for the super chat. Said Mafia told Trump to tell Powell, chill, we print money trading. Yo, shout out to the Fibinator, just whipping that fib out and making money trading Bitcoin, whether price goes up or down. So shout out to Zenon and shout out to Simon. I hope you got, shout out to Zenon said, thank you, bro. That really did help me a lot, and I didn't take it the wrong way at all. I appreciate you a lot. How did you find the MPOC so fast? Yo, shout out to Dark Zenon, bro. That's the attitude, and that is the mentality that you need to make it in trading, my friend. A lot of people have the opposite reaction as you. They'll get mad. They'll get upset. They'll get emotional, right? They'll be like, oh, they get mad. You didn't. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. Doesn't mean you're not going to get emotional trading, but that's good, bro. That's good. You're taking the advice, not financial advice, but you're taking the lesson from someone who's been through it, right? Like I said, I've been in your position, probably in a worse situation, probably way more often than you've been in the situation, right? So it's never me saying, I never buy tops, I never sell bottoms, I never lose trades. That's not the case at all, right? And it's not the case for anyone who's telling you that. I promise you that. So yeah, I've been in the same position. Same thing with Simon. Hopefully that helps you out too, bro. But yeah, like I like personally on Market Cypher B, I like to wait for the money flow to cross over into the red and then buy. Right? Once that money flow crosses over into the red, that's typically where you see the start of the bear market. I let it drop a little, and then I start to dollar cost average in until we wind up breaking structure again. Right? Money flow crossover into the red right here. Massive bear market. Money flow crossover into the red right here. Whoops. Crash to the downside. Right? It's always been buying the bottom if you buy that weekly money flow crossover. So that's what we did last cycle. Dollar cost average, dollar cost average, dollar cost average. Boom. Let it run. Right? This is where you want to buy. When everyone says crypto's dead, it's a scam, regulation, exchange is going down, oh my God, stay away from that. That's where you want to buy. Not when it's on the news, not when it's being talked about by friends, not when meme coins are going crazy, not when there's all random amount of TikTok influencers that are all of a sudden into crypto. It's hilarious. It's like, I will say this, guys. The biggest, we had weekly bearish divergences, we had monthly bearish divergence, and again, like I said, for the 50th time, right? I hate to repeat myself, but, I still think that we can make a higher low and continue up, right? But if this is the top, I will say this. There are a lot of things that, and again, does it mean it's the top of the absolute bull market? Maybe not. But if it is the top, there's a lot of things, guys, like more from a social standpoint. I had comedians, like not famous stand-up comedians, but I had like comedy influencers, or I don't know what you call them, like, I don't know, funny Instagram reel makers, I don't know, funny influencers, right? Like people who make comedy content that were like flipping to like all of a sudden talking about crypto and like, oh, today we're gonna like, I'm like, dude, what? Like you were just making jokes about like standing in line at the DMV and like now you're into crypto. And then I start looking at it and I'm like, and we just broke 100K and there goes Trump making a meme coin. Good Lord. Oh, God. Right? Now, does that guarantee it's the top? Not necessarily. But could just be a significant top, right? But, yeah, like even family and friends, nobody talked to me down here. They talked to me. No one asked me about crypto down here. I told them all, right? Hey, I'm buying. Not telling you to. I'm just saying I feel a responsibility to tell you guys I am buying. Yeah, no, I think I'm just going to wait it out a little bit more. I think it's going to go lower. Okay. I think it's going lower too. This was like right here. I think it's going lower too, but I'm just starting to DCA in. Nah, man, good luck with that. Okay. Everybody hits me up here. Everybody hits me up here. And now everyone's hitting me up here. Oh my God, what should I buy? Should I sell this coin that's not performing and buy this one that is performing? Should I sell the bottom of my one coin and then buy the top of another coin? No, please don't do that. Okay, I'm going to do it anyway. Oh my God, what happened, Frankie? I'm down so much. I'm like, oh God, man. I'll be honest. A lot of the people in my personal life, because I know their personal situations a little bit better than I know a lot of you guys' personal life, right? Because I don't know you guys personally, but most of those people, I tell them to buy an S&P index and dollar cost average into Bitcoin over the next 10 years, and they're going to make more money than ever trying to time a bull market, right? Time in the market, not timing the market. We time the market when we're trading, but we use very tight risk management. So yeah, anyway, let's continue on. Hopefully that's helpful to anybody who's a beginner out there. Hopefully. So yeah, let's see. Shout out to Wix White 589. Welcome in. What is going on? We got Wick 589 as well. Said, did y'all know they revived the Dire Wolf from extinction? The DNA was preserved in Dutch's sap. Shout out to Wick 589. I think I get where that was going. But anyway, let's continue on. Shout out to Wick and his wife, Fine 89s. They're both Fine 89s. Let's see. But yeah, overall, like we are at, very, very deep fear levels, right? And we are approaching very, very important support, right? So even if with all those top signals up here, right, could just be a significant top before coming back to the upside. And hopefully that's what we see, right? And from a structural perspective, we still have that ability, right? 50-week moving average is a simple free thing that you can have on your chart. I almost wrote free. The 50-week moving average is very similar to the weekly smart trail, right, on Lux Algo. But if we look at this, right, this has held us up, right? We kind of bounced on it there. We bounced on it there. We bounced on it there. It's been holding us up this whole time. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't really want daily candle closures below this, but I would really prefer. Do we have any daily candle? It's going to be hard to see. But I wouldn't mind like a wick below this, right? But like, maybe we get some kind of like liquidation event or like some kind of crazy capitulation. But if we're going to do that and we're going to have a super red week with some kind of like crazy news and we're going to get a big wick like that, we want to see that candle close above that 50-week moving average, in my personal opinion, right? So that could give us that drop down towards these highs or even towards that POC at 67K. But you do not want to close your weekly candle down there. Like you can see here, like back here, like, oh man, that was close, right? Like you wick below it. Okay, cool. All right, now we close this candle. Oh man, like that was super close, right? And then once you break below it, you close multiple weekly candles. It's a bearish retest, massive drop to the downside. Flip it, bull run, right? So yeah, you definitely don't, like anytime you get below that level is typically not good unless we get some kind of a crazy black swan. This is the only situation where you really see it come down and close multiple weekly candles below it, right? And in this case, I mean, this is just hard to navigate, right? Like this is what it is, right? Like this is just something we don't see a lot in the markets. And this is why the markets are so hard sometimes, because a lot of times, a lot of things will happen that you can't expect. So yeah, I mean, you could even consider that a little mini bear market. So understand, we are approaching key support here, right? You got your previous highs, right? You got your value area high. You have your golden pocket. You have your 50-week moving average. You have your POC of the range, right? So you have a lot of support down here. We just don't want to live down there for very long. Ideally, we don't even have to go mess around with those levels, right? That would be great. But if we do, we just want it to be somewhat quick, right? Weekly candle closures down here is what I don't like. But we'll assess that situation. I will be here to update you every single step of the way. Let's see. Shout out to Wick 589 said, you kidding? Oh, God. Frankie's kid's going to look exactly like him. Will live for another 5,000 generations, and we'll all know Immaculate TA. It's the same as Frankie's cloning. Shout out to the Wig 589. We are building a Frankie Candle, a Frankie Candle's baby, which would just be like my kid. Yeah, he's gonna be a TA savant. I'm just kidding. He'll probably just like really like football, and I'll be like, "Come on, dude, don't you want to make a bunch of money trading? Come on, your dad does it." And he's gonna be like, "I just want to play football, Dad," and I'll probably be like, "All right, that's awesome. I like football now." Let's see. Shout out to the Trey Flip Jones said, "How do you have that many templates, bro?" Shout out to Trey Flip. Very, I don't want to say simple, but it's kind of like a hidden feature, to be honest. So it's not very simple. But you just star them here, right? Like you could save you might need a paid version of TradingView, potentially. I'm not 100% sure on that. I have an expert TradingView subscription, but you just hit save indicator template, right? Set up whatever you want, right? So if like I wanted to, whatever, like let me go to 0, right? Let's just say I wanted, I don't know. I'll just pull up RSI. I want the RSI. I want market cipher B. I want the DBSI. I want market cipher B, market cipher A, and that's it. Now I go here. I save indicator template, and I say MCB, and I save it. Now when I go into my indicator templates, you can see MCB. So if I turn them all off, right, I have no indicators on the chart, come under to templates, click MCB, boom, there it is. If I want it to live up here, I just hit that little star, and it will add it right here. So now I can go no indicators, market cipher B, Lux Algo, session volume profiles. This one takes a minute to load. MPOCs. Bada boom. So there you go. And someone asked me how I get the MPOCs to pop up so fast. Well, number one, I click the indicator template, which does make it pretty quick. So yeah, instead of like going to the indicators tab, typing in PVP and figuring it out that way, I just have it all set up, and then I just hit save on the indicator template, and I can just go here. Mark them all out with horizontal raise. I just go, hey, boom, boom, right? And I get those MPOCs, and then I turn them off, and then there's my MPOCs, right? So there you go. We have videos on this showing you guys exactly how to mark up that chart. Exactly how I do every day. Let's see. Oh, it's the pro version or greater. Wait for Black Friday sale on TradingView. Yeah, shout out to Christopher. The Black Friday sale on TradingView is insane. Absolutely. But yeah, with all that being said, guys, Frankie, did Bitcoin's death cross happen yet? I don't think it happened yet. I think it's incoming. Is it happening yet? I don't know. Not something I check super, super often. Oh, no, it is happening. Yeah, it did happen. It is confirmed. It's going to 0. But yeah, I've given my opinion on this. It's you just look at the last times that we've had death crosses, right? Death cross here. What happened? We already had the dump, right? You get the big dump, right? Death cross happens. You get like one more little dump, and then you kind of recover into that death cross happening or finishing, and then you get the golden cross and big move up, right? Same thing here. Oh, this was the start of the bear market. This is the kind of the difficult thing, right? Like the death cross at the top, right, sometimes causes the bear market, right? But other than that, like look here, right? Death cross happens. We get like one more little dump, but we basically just go sideways, and then we come back up, right? So, you know, I think this is, I hate that they call this like the death cross because it's like, I don't know, like it's only the death cross like in a massive bear market. But you can see here, like it gives false signals. It gives like random signals. It's very, yeah, like even here, death cross, we kind of just went up after that. They got a golden cross and just ripped. So not something I pay that, not that I don't pay attention to it, but it's not like something that I would like trade based off. Like the only reason that this death cross is going to be like super, super huge is if the bear market is here. There's so many other factors that come into effect there, or that have an effect on that than just a death cross, right? So it's like, I don't know. I'm treating this like every death cross, like, I don't know. It's like, it's a better signal to look at in hindsight, right? Because traditionally, I don't know, if you shorted on death crosses, like you would have had more losers than winners, right? Like death cross, enter here, expecting downside, didn't happen, right? This was the bear market, right? So that is a time where it would have played out. Here, death cross happened right about here. So you would have entered and expect a big move down. You got a big move up. Right? So you can just kind of go back and back test these. Death cross happened here. You would have entered expecting a big move down. You went up. So, and like even here, right? Like you have the death cross, but it literally gets you in and then you go straight up. Was it a long-term signal for a potential bear market? Maybe, right? Massive descending triangle, right? But entering in on or making a decision off of that death cross almost always proves, expecting a move down, you come up, right? It's like almost always gets you in at the wrong time. So that's kind of my take on it. I don't really make decisions based off of it. So there you go. But we'll see what happens here on Bitcoin, guys. If we get that continuation to the downside, you guys now know those key levels that I'm looking at for the bounces. If you're just tuning in, go to the beginning of the stream. We cover everything in detail. But let's see. Yeah, I don't like the saying death cross either, Frankie. Yeah, shout out to Based Bailey. Yeah, I think it's just like, I don't know. It's just like, it just triggers so much fear for no reason. But yeah. How are we getting 1,000 likes on these streams, guys? This is insane. Unbelievable. We're almost at 1,000 likes. Smash that like button if you have not already. But with all that being said, guys, that's all the time I got for tonight's live stream. I appreciate every single one of you guys for hanging out with us here. How many viewers did we have tonight? Let's see here. Bada boom, bada bing. Oh, hot dang, 1,100 people in here. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Shout out to everybody tuning in right now. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Running up to 1,000 likes. I think we're going to hit it right now. If we do, we'll be giving away 3 Frankie Candles hats. We already got $100 in Solana. We'll get 3 Frankie Candles hats given away if we hit 1,000. And there it is, 1,014 likes, baby. Let's go. Shout out to the Candle Mafia. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. It was really for Crypto Billy's birthday, though. You guys smash that like for Crypto Billy. I know you did. But yeah, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thank you so much for being here. And we will see you tomorrow, same place, same time. Billy Go Tails on X tonight, 9 p.m. Be there. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong. I don't know if you guys can see me, but we are freaking out here on the computer. OBS is frozen. Maybe you can see me, maybe you can't, but I can't do the fake out, I don't think, because I can't see anything. I can't play the music, guys. So if you hear me or see me, I'll see you guys tomorrow, same place, same time, right here, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh, we're back. We're live. Okay, it fixed itself. All right, now I'm going to be back. No fake out tonight, guys. My computer's going to light on fire. I'll see you tomorrow, same place, same time. You know the rest. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on the road, hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on the road, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on the road, hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the road.